is over.
Right, man. Who's going first?
Herb. I hate Herb.
Oh, we gonna kill Herb first. Can he talk?
He's stupid.
There's a lot of death in the wheel endings lately.
Is that right?
Yeah, we were gonna kill.
A lot of death in this whole episode.
Oh, that's where it came from.
Yeah, a lot of death in the episode. All right, so one that I wanted to talk about that didn't make the cut, death by champagne cork. Now, this is a thing. This is a real thing. A cork can fly off of a champagne bottle up to 50 miles per hour as it leaves the bottle.
I mean, that doesn't seem that fast to me.
Well,
I mean, like somebody throws a fastball 95 miles per hour.
It needs to hit you in the weak spot. So,
what are you trying to convert it to?
How do you do this?
You trying to get kilometers?
Yeah, how do you do that?
It's 80. It's 80
How do you know
kilometers
that?
per hour.
Is it?
Because it's right there on that page that you just pulled up.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
80, we're talking about like just below the speed
Wait, if
limit
I
in
told
most
you that
places.
it was 80 kilometers per hour, would you feel differently?
Nope.
Because I just put a lot of work into getting that stat. Let me go back to this. You're saying that a 50 mile per hour cork coming at you is not going to kill you. I'm saying it's going to hurt you.
I went to the batting cage the other night with my kids, and they've never hit. I feel bad as a father, but they've never really hit a baseball before. That's just not something that we've been into.
Are they going to the baseball clinic with my kids? Because I took my kids to play baseball yesterday.
Baseball clinic? What's this?
There's like a Coach Nash baseball clinic.
They might be going, but I know. I went down to the Castle Park place with the batting cages.
Just because you wanted to, not because you wanted to prepare them for a clinic.
Yeah, I was like, kids, let's go. This is something maybe we can do this.
Did you get hit in the face with a ball going 50 miles an hour?
No, but the slowest one is 40. And it was too slow.
But if it was shaped like a champagne cork.
It was like waiting
and
waiting.
If it was shaped like a champagne cork and it was point blank range and you're like, hey! And it like goes in your mouth.
If it chokes you, but cork is made out of
Not chokes you,
cork.
it goes up through the soft palate and to the roof of your mouth and lodges in your brain.
That happens? No way.
Terry K. Stevens, 1957. I was making that up. I made up the name and everything.
I was like, I don't see any name on it.
Warm bottles of champagne and poor technique of removing the cork can result in serious blinding eye injuries. Anything that travels with such momentum can have a devastating effect if it strikes your eye.
To
but
the
it
eye,
won't
yeah,
kill you.
definitely.
Even an unshaken, well-chilled bottle of champagne, the pressure is 3 times higher than the pressure in your car tire. That's a lot of pressure.
I believe that.
So when you're popping bottles in the club, you got to be pointing that cannon away from people's faces. We don't condone.
It probably loses
popping bottles in the club.
It probably
by the
loses its
way.
momentum pretty quickly, though.
Yeah, so don't
If you get hit by a cork from
don't, get a close
40
up view.
feet away, it's like, what is that, a gnat? You know, it's like getting sprayed by a shotgun from a distance. That happened to me when I was a kid.
Injuries include
Not
eye
kidding.
wall rupture. What as a kid?
I got shot with a shotgun as a child.
You got sprayed, but it fell back to the ground like rain.
Yeah, when you're hunting dove, small birds, the birds of peace. When you're hunting those for food, sometimes, which I did as a child, you shoot the shotgun and somebody shoots from the other side of the field and it goes up in the air and then it comes and hits you and the bullets land on you. They're really small. So I was like, I guess I just got shot, but it kind of just bounces off of you.
With all
Fun
these,
fact.
That is a fun fact. With all these eye injuries, it does make me think about what are the injuries associated with like Nerf bullets and whatnot.
Lots of those.
I went in I don't know if I've told this story, but I went in the optometrist back home. I went into his shop, and it was on the weekend.
It's
and
like
he was
the Legend of Zelda.
He was a friend of mine.
The optometrist shop.
So he was closed, but he let me go in there over the weekend to get a pair of glasses or something. I can't remember. It's a few years back. But there was a guy who was on his way out. What?
You're like a VIP at the optometry?
Yeah, he's a friend of mine. You know how I roll.
He failed to mention that this is like one of his.
I said he's my friend.
Just,
so what part
just
of failed to mention?
Just then to answer her, right? Or did you say that earlier?
Before then, I said my friend.
Oh.
I went in his shop.
I didn't hear that either.
You were off on Zelda or something. I probably didn't say it. I thought it, and you guys should infer that. There was a point to my story, which I haven't even gotten to, which is there was a guy who went in there on an emergency, and he was coming out, and he had a patch over his eye. And his kid had shot him in the eyeball with a suction cup Nerf dart. He went in there, and like Tony had to...
Oh, your friend Tony, huh?
You know, my friend Tony. Had to pull that thing off.
I called your friend Tony one time.
The eyeball came out with it.
Yeah, right.
And then it was like, boing, it went back in because the optic nerve pulled it back in.
The optic nerve. I poked Shepard in the eye.
It didn't stick.
You know the story.
Just for the record, it didn't stick to the eyeball, but it smocked it really good, and then came off, and then it like tore his cornea.
I had to call. My wife has had to call Tony when Shepard poked her in the eye.
On a plane.
And she still has a corneal abrasion from that. It was like 3.5 years ago. And then we called Tony when I poked Shepard in the eye as payback. No.
As payback?
No.
Why'd you poke him in the eye?
You know the story? I picked him up and I was like...
Picked him up by the eyeball.
I was messing with him. And I don't know what I was doing. I was like messing with him and I like shot my arm up and it went right in his eye. And I felt it like dig in. And then he immediately started crying, and then he immediately had a big bloody spot on the white part of his eye, and I was like, oh gosh, I've blinded my son.
Well, that's why they have two.
And he was like, I sent him a picture of it, and he was
if
like...
If you blind one son, you still have another one to blind later.
He's like, he's going to be fine. Anyway.
I think we've talked about this before, because I poked my nanny's eye out when I was a kid, too.
But you didn't poke it out.
No, it stayed in. But she couldn't see out of it. For a good long while.
I think we also had an argument about this, about you said that poking it out meant where it couldn't see temporarily. And I said poking it out means you poke it and it comes out of the socket, right?
That's probably your opinion. Yes.
You think poking it out...
when you poke someone's eye out, what does that mean to you?
He poked his eye out.
Does that really mean that the eyeball comes out? Have you ever heard the saying?
I heard like he shot his eye out. Like
No.
in a Christmas story.
Like, poked your eye out. I'm gonna poke your eye
I
out.
heard it. Yeah.
And what do you picture happening?
Your eye coming out of your head.
Okay, that's your opinion. And you?
I got the opposite.
You mean it's like it's out, it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
Poke it out like a light. It goes out.
It's like out.
Yeah.
But Jen's the decision maker here because we're two against two.
If you poke your eye out.
What happens if you poke your eye out?
Does your eyeball come out of your head or does it stop working?
Isn't it attached to like the optic nerve?
Yeah.
So it still works, right?
But when I say what would somebody's face look like if I poked Link's eye out right now? How would he look if you had to draw a picture of him? Would he just be going like this?
No, I imagine like this, and then like the eye is like dangling.
3 against 2. Vote in the comments.